And do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Do, 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 do. Get down tonight.
Do, 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 do. Hello, everybody. We're back. It's us.
And tired.
Very well. That's what happens when you're parents and you decide to do things outside of parenting time. You get sleep deprived and the coffee runs out. By the way, my name's Chris. I'm the host of the Chaos Den podcast. If you're new to our channel, hello, welcome. Nice to see you.
And I'm Eric, the host and showrunner for the Hebridean Tales and soon to be Somebody's Heroes.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited.
What are you hashtag not sponsored by? I see your drink over there. Don't lie to us. Don't hold out.
It's nothing fancy. It's nothing fancy. Just a little, my Sleeman 2.0, my cheapy beer.
Tonight
but
I've got mics.
I am cozied tonight for my second one.
Very nice. That's Dad's garage? Is that what that says?
Oh yeah.
That's fucking amazing. And I'm over here not sponsored by Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Ooh.
Technically it says Harder Lemonade.
Harder.
I don't know what the difference between hard and harder is, because the alcohol content's not really that bad.
I mean, it could just be like the can's harder. Maybe they pounded the lemons a little harder when they were making it.
It's not twisted tea.
No.
We all know what twisted tea cans can do.
I actually do not. I color me pink. I don't know.
Oh.
What do you do?
For a while back, a twisted tea can was used as a weapon in a convenience store to beat the fuck out of somebody.
Really?
Yep. No joke. 100%. They caught it on the fucking camera and it became a meme.
Wow. How have I? Okay, I'm gonna have to go search that meme later.
Right?
I don't think I've seen that one. That one's definitely new.
See, I don't like tea, so it caught me by surprise until everyone and their mother was talking about it.
Well, not everybody, because I wasn't talking about it. I didn't know. And I'm included in everybody. I hope. I think.
Depends on the referent, because if we're talking about everyone, then I'm sure there were other countries not talking about it, but I'm talking everyone in America.
Well, that's fair. We talk about Timmy's. Because Timmy's?
No idea.
Timmy? Like Tim Hortons?
We don't have I don't have Tim Hortons here. I'm not saying it's not in America, but it's not here.
I know it's branched out a little bit, but it's like they're in my city where I live, there is a Tim Hortons on almost every single corner. Like every single corner there's a Tim Hortons.
So it's like 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Like we have 7-Eleven here. Not as many as there used to be. Tim Hortons is literally like you can't drive down a street without seeing a Tim Hortons.
It's a Starbucks.
Yeah, with way worse coffee.
I mean...
And yet everybody wants Timmy's. They're addicted to it. It's like crack cocaine, but liquid coffee form.
How do we know they don't put it as part of their secret recipe?
Oh, because you can find the recipe online.
I'm sure.
Yeah. It's actually funny because the original recipe of Tim Hortons is now owned by McDonald's.
Okay. So, the tower.
Moving on to the tower.
Moving on from Timmy.
From
Timmers.
Timmer. Okay, so next time, next live stream, I'm gonna have a Timmy's with me, just cause.
Jesus.
Anyways, yes, we are talking about the tower today.
Yes.
Which is one of our planes. There it is. There is our tower. So you cannot die in the tower. And the tower has sections. So you have the library, which I believe was our third section.
So let's start at the bottom. When you enter the tower, the only way safely into the tower is through the tavern.
Correct.
From the tavern, you are stripped of all magical voodoo hoodoo bullshit, because the plane of the tower, which we will have a better name for as soon as we have people willing to give us names.
We need names, peoples.
you have to deal with the bartender on the bottom floor.
Yes.
And or the other viable option is technically you could talk to
Johnny,
our resident bar
survivor.
No, not I'm not going to call him a survivor. Patron.
That's a good one. Yep. I was gonna say,
Resident
he's
bar
a
patron.
resident. He's a resident. He lives there.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Walker is here after committing I don't know if it's a sin or not, of carving the river from the Grey Wastes.
I think that's considered a
material
sin.
plane.
Like, I don't think he should have done it, so I think it's a sin, or at least it's very, very frowned upon by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Most
But
of
not everybody.
No,
because now there's a fountain of youth type of deal on the planet.
Anybody on Unity is very, very happy that Johnny did that because, like you said, correct, there is a fountain of youth or a fountain of power, as you will, that exists on plane of Unity, on the material plane, as we call it, or we call it the plane of Unity. It's normally called the material plane.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so from that first tier of the tavern, and the tavern is also where all of gods and deities come to have discussions. It's their meeting location.
Because even gods are stripped of power, not their immortality, but their power here.
Yeah, like their arcane magics or their godly
essences.
Well, not their essence, but
not their essence.
Power. Power is the only really way to say
power is
it.
the word.
They
power
lose
is the word.
magic. They lose the capability of magic.
They can still punch you in the face pretty fucking hard.
And it would hurt and probably kill you, but you can't die.
No.
So it would just hurt a lot. And if you start a fight in the tower, bartender will essentially evict you.
Mm-hmm.
Forcefully and aggressively. Aggressively?
Yes. I would probably put him at like a CR 50 fucking creature. He's worse than a Tarrasque. Do not let this bartender leave the bar.
But he's such a passive person that unless you do something that is outside of his happiness, you're okay.
Exactly.
Just
you don't want him leaving the bar. Imagine what would happen if this fucker left the bar.
That's true.
How pissed off is he gonna be?
Like, can you imagine if he makes it into Unity plane and just sees like war and conflict going on? He'd annihilate the whole planet. There'd be no planet left.
In a snap of his fucking finger.
He would Thanos.
Pretty much.
He would be like, okay, no, half of you don't need to exist anymore because half of you are bad people. You're all dead. Bye-bye.
And here's hoping it's the right half to die.
I mean, at that point in time, who cares? Because depending
the
on...
bad people wouldn't. That's the point.
But see, depending on how they die and who they are that die, they'd all just go to the fucking Grey Waste. The Grey Waste would get so overwhelmed and just populated.
But here's the thing. If you're blinked out of existence...
Oh, that's true. You wouldn't go...
You're not dead.
You're not dead. You're Stardust.
You're just...
You get poof. Stardust. Yeah, you're poofed. You're turned back into matter.
Like... This is the cosmological level creature.
Yeah.
Because the tower is how the cosmos works and functions.
Yeah, that's
and I
correct.
see we have some people here watching us. Congratulations. Welcome, people. We don't know who you are yet, but that's okay. We love you anyway.
Feel free to say hi.
Yes. So, moving up from the bar.
So from the bar, we have, I believe it was, what did we call it? Cosmicon, that's right. Which was our second tier, which was Tutus. I think we nicknamed it Tutus.
Yes. And the bar was actually named Koha.
Yes, Koha. Koha and Tutus were our first two levels of the tower. So on to this on the Cosmicon. Picture a massive convention center, essentially, an endless convention center where everything from demons, devils, angels, humans, everything is welcome here if you can pay the fee. It's either, I believe we said, let's have a quick peek. Okay, 150,000 gold pieces or 150 souls.
Correct.
Either or would get you in for a day pass. Mm-hmm. And the day pass time, we didn't quite figure out how long a day pass time would be, because what is
That's
time?
because it's also a day pass.
Yeah.
What happens for this day pass is that you go to the bartender gives you an hourglass with a set amount of time.
Yep.
And that is your day pass. He flips it over, sets it around your neck, and you are just transported upstairs to Cosmicon. Cosmicon is the cosmological convention to end all cosmological conventions. For those of you in the RPG space, think Gen Con
on crack.
But the people running events, the people holding booths and tables are every deity and every pantheon out there in existence.
Yeah, like
so Anubis is giving a speech on the weight of your heart versus a feather. Dionysus and his homeboys, Thor and those other partiers, are probably just throwing a kegger.
And then you'd probably have druids on the other side teaching you how to grow plants and herbology.
Mm-hmm. You'd have druids teaching you plants and bullshit like that, and then on
I think at one part in time we talked about
would be teaching forging.
We talked about how Lucifer would be in there teaching you how to like make contracts.
Yeah, the devils.
Souls.
Devils would be in there teaching you how to make a contract, because a contract is a contract is a contract.
So that was the Comic-Con. Now we did not Comic-Con, Cosmicon. No copyrights. Mm-hmm. We did discuss how, as well, in this plane, that there was an individual that we created. I believe you named her Carrie the Klepto, and yes. She's running around stealing day passes from people, and essentially she's been living on the plane, on Cosmicon plane, forever.
For a while.
A long time.
That's humanoids. That's a humanoid. Since the changeling race existed, she's been able to be here. Because Carrie is a changeling.
Correct. And we've also discussed...
confirm.
Did we ever discuss about the concept of actual time progression within the tower itself? Johnny's been here, and as far as we know, he's human. For millennia.
Mm-hmm.
So we touched base on it a little bit, pardon me, on the concept that if Johnny ever left the tower, he'd probably immediately die or just age. Stardust immediately.
It's like in traditional D&D. If you enter the astral plane as your physical body, you cannot die of old age on the astral on the astral sea. However, as soon as you portal anywhere with time, that time immediately catches up to you. That is why the Githyanki cannot, if they've lived a certain amount of time on the astral sea, they cannot come back to the material. That's why they routinely actually do raid the material plane. A little bit of lore that from the looks of it, you were unaware of.
I was definitely unaware of that. I have the books, I just haven't read them yet.
Yeah, right? Like, it's one of those. It's like, that is a super cool little thing, but people just don't know it.
Yeah.
That's everyone can hear both of us over on the Twitch. Yes. Let's make sure we get that audio check in real quick.
Should be able to. Everything's green on OBS. Yeah, people just don't want to talk. That's okay.
Apparently it's a quiet night. That's okay. We've got people in the chat. They're just not chatting. That's fine with me.
That's okay.
We love you anyway, people.
We certainly do.
But yeah, so that's what I think would happen is Chaos and Threads sends a dancing dinosaur. Congratulations.
I accept. I like dinosaurs.
Dancing dinos are fantastic, and I love that little emoji. That thing is freaking awesome. But yeah, I do think time would just catch up with you, and you would turn into Stardust, and that's what I think. If that's the bartender's weapon outside of the tower, essentially, is he just is an avatar of the god of time, Zaxxan, which we did create last time.
Yeah, we hit that a bit.
Zaxxan is a they/them god of time because time doesn't care about gender, sexuality, or gender constructs. It is above all of that. Time is time, and only they can control time.
And they have stopped time in the tower.
Yes, and time is stopped in the entirety of the tower plane system.
So moving up to level 3, we do have, and this is where we kind of stopped a little bit, was the library. We touched base on a little bit, and we had some discussions that we wanted to talk about, but we never actually got into. Hello, Shades. Welcome back, my friend.
Welcome back, Shades.
And I'm trying to remember what it was that we had talked about. I feel like we made a note somewhere, and I don't see it. We have in big caps cannot die.
Yeah, but that's in the entirety of the tower. What?
Oh.
The god of... Go ahead.
It's in the big orange lettering there. Knowledge given is redeemable for a coupon of similar alignment type.
Yes. So we took inspiration for the library from a couple of different sources.
We did.
One of those being the magicians. The other one being the library from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So the inspiration from the magicians is that every mortal who has died has a book about their life having been written.
Yep.
And cataloged in the library.
Which you can gets cataloged once you die.
Correct. It doesn't even get it doesn't get written until you die, but the exact instant you die,
it appears.
It appears.
Yeah.
And then volume 2 is of your life is your afterlife book, where it is continually written until after you
Stardust.
Yeah,
until you Stardust. Yeah.
Until you're dusted.
Yeah.
But it's all of your deeds, good, bad, or otherwise, in your afterlife.
Oh, I just thought of the term for it, and now I blanked on it.
And that book is one that is a continually written book, which means you could, after you die, come here to the library, open that book, and be like, and then he decided to, then Chris opened the book of his afterlife and decided to skip to the very end and read this section, and now he's appalled and aghast at reading the section about him reading the section about him reading the section about him reading the and then you just break the book.
And I think that's where we came down to the idea of in order to gain access into the library, you have to supply a certain amount of knowledge in order to gain knowledge. Now, you had made the comment that in order, like, if I give you a piece of necrotic knowledge, like about necromancy, I can again, in return, learn about necrotic or necromancy knowledge. I didn't agree with that too wholeheartedly, because a lot of times someone who has one type of knowledge is coming to seek a different style of knowledge. So if I have knowledge per se about cars, but I'm going to the library to learn about water or element. Sure. You have no idea how ironic that is. I'm an appliance technician by trade.
I know exactly how ironic that is.
So I think the volume of knowledge you're offering would equate to the volume of knowledge that you can receive, not so much the style or type of knowledge.
Well, I was going what we could do is actually hybridize those, right?
Yeah.
The only way you can get access to that ill knowledge is by bringing ill knowledge. So you either exchange for new knowledge at the level.
Your mic was crapping out for a second there.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. I think you're good. You're good. Oh, no, you're not good.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is that any better?
Surprisingly, yes.
Okay.
I've never seen somebody eat a mic before.
But you can gain it one of two ways. Either A, you can gain the next higher degree of knowledge of the kind you brought, or equivalent of a different type. So if you bring low-level evocation knowledge, you can gain access to low level of any other knowledge. But if you bring low-level evocation and you came to learn higher-level evocation, you can do that.
But that's magic knowledge. Some people might come to the library not for magic knowledge. They might come for like historical knowledge. I was
giving an example.
Okay.
But like, if you bring me a book on current world politics in, let's just say, America, through that I could get access to either the underbelly of the politics, therefore learning deeper about the politics of that I've already shown I have a base understanding of, or I could trade that in and essentially get forbidden knowledge on a grand overview kind of deal.
Okay.
It's like a level 1, level 2, level 3 type of deal, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm submitting level 1 knowledge, I only have access to level 1 knowledge.
Okay, that I can agree to, yeah.
Or level 2 of what I've already brought.
Okay.
To get a level 2, I have to bring a level 2 product to get access to level 2 of anything.
Or potentially 2 level 1s.
Level 3, even 2 level 1s could qualify as a level 2, depends on what it is exactly for the librarian. Because our librarian could be finicky as a motherfucker.
Well, we did say the librarian was another automaton. I believe we called him the monitor, Ashiro, god of knowledge.
No, the god of knowledge is different.
Yeah, sorry, no, this is Elsevier.
Elsevier.
Yeah, Elsevier was the librarian automaton, and he knows and can actually, you know what? Let's change it from he to she.
Well, it is already. Well, oh, you want to make the actual monitor she? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it should be like a female.
Works for me.
Not because I think librarians should be female, but because I feel like the name Elsevier is a semi-female name. It's a feminine name, and I don't know. I like the idea of the person running the library has power.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of being able to cast every single spell known to existence is crazy, and I don't think that power should be in a man's hand. Just saying.
I'm not gonna argue that. Like, I agree, but it's also not in a humanoid's hands, if you noticed.
It's not in a
humanoid's
in a
robot's hands.
It's in an automaton's hands.
Created by a god.
Yes. But I just thought it would be funny.
And a god heart and actually they're actually a deity themselves because they have a god heart as their power. They do have a god
heart. Yeah, that is true. So that even then we can even pull so far as saying that Elsevier was the name of the god whose heart is now in this automaton. So it's her entity, her soul, her personality perspective that is the librarian.
Yes.
So
that could honestly you want to be... Oh, this is going to be fun. Elsevier was the previous god of knowledge before Ashiro.
Do you think Ashiro kind of like killed her, put her in an automaton?
But that's a D&D story for another D&D game.
Oh, come on. We're supposed to be making it.
I don't know, right? Like, it's one of those. I don't know whether Ashiro would have killed Elsevier or have basically been a pupil who got elevated when Elsevier died.
Okay, well, let's write it right now. Let's start up a new page and we'll write it right now.
Fuck, the legend of the legends of the legend of Ashiro.
I mean, Legends of Avatar, Legend of Zelda.
You know,
we can just do we can just do a very basic, simple synopsis of the happenings of what happened. Personally, I like the idea of Elsevier was, like you said, the head god of knowledge, and Ashiro was the pupil. Eventually started learning some of the darker knowledge in the library and started to get too powerful. Elsevier challenged her, or challenged them.
Ashiro challenged him.
You think?
You said Ashiro was the pupil to Elsevier.
Yes.
So Ashiro would have challenged
Elsevier.
Yeah.
If I didn't say that, I'm sorry.
No, I wanted to make sure people listening are clear. We want to make sure that it's understood. Elsevier was the former god of knowledge.
Correct.
Ashiro is the current one because Elsevier. I actually think, what if it's this? Elsevier became opinionated.
Oh yeah, could be.
Took a side.
Stopped being neutral.
Took a side for good or evil. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because a god of knowledge shouldn't do that. A god of knowledge should be neutral at all times. They just the collection of knowledge is all that matters. So Elsevier started to safeguard dark knowledge,
and that's why the dark knowledge rules are in place.
Yeah. She overrode those, like she made that rule. She made that happen, that magic barrier.
After the creation of the Shadow Plane.
And that's how the Shadow Plane got made.
Boom!
I like
Lore
it.
writes itself, baby!
Look at that. That's magic. That's magic. I like it.
Fuck yes. What do you guys think in chat? You guys like that idea?
Chat says yes.
Actually, you made me look. Silence was compliance, apparently.
I mean, yeah.
But that's why the monitor was built to house the power of a god.
Built the monitor with the so probably I would assume that Ashiro built the monitor with the bartender's aid.
Just took a bartender clone, one of the ones from Cosmicon.
Oh, do you think she just went down to Cosmicon, took a guard, didn't tell anybody, ripped its arms off, ripped its core off?
Yeah, reconfigured it.
Kept the core. And shoved a heart in it and went, haha.
Good enough. But also
this
the power of
now, bitch.
But also the power of Elsevier would have helped hold that together and give it a different form that didn't look like a guard.
Yeah, she like her godly powers would have altered the form of the automaton.
So all she needed really was the container core of the guard. She didn't even need a full one.
No,
you just needed
a containment field, essentially. Yeah.
She just needed a containment device.
And then she probably would have used some of the dark magic found within the library to essentially phylactery Elsevier into the automaton.
Correct. So Elsevier's a lich?
Ish. Yeah. Like,
Jesus.
I mean, she's not a lich because she doesn't have an outside body. But can you lich a god?
I mean,
Kinda.
Vecna? You've heard of him, right?
Yeah, but he's not a god.
He often does show up as one.
I mean, yes, but his actual core creation was he was a humanoid. He was a humanoid who ascended to godhood. Yes. Whereas with Elsevier, in the ways that we're looking at it, she didn't ascend to godhood. She was created god.
She was the god.
She was the god. So in that sense, can't really lich something that doesn't have humanity. Because lichdom is essentially the basis of you have humanity, you're on the verge of dying, you use dark magic to remove your soul, put it somewhere else, and continue living.
The security protocols. All right, so security protocols.
Scrolling that down farther.
You're good.
Okay. Cool beans.
But Ashiro essentially waited until was actually told by one of the other gods that she couldn't do anything preemptively. Ashiro they couldn't do anything preemptively. They had to wait until after the thing was done in order to follow up.
So you're saying that in order for Ashiro to ascend to god status, Elsevier had to be removed from the picture first.
Elsevier had to perform the action that broke the rules. Because the God of Time was only two doors down, right?
True.
Like, in cosmologically speaking, Zaxxan knew what was going to happen.
In theory, yes.
Zaxxan knew that Elsevier was eventually going to do the thing. Being able to look through time, if Ashiro went to them and said, "Hey, look, Zaxxan, I feel like this is going to happen. Can you look forward and see what's going to happen?" Zaxxan would have been able to see the future.
He would, but I would feel that he would still have a restriction put on him with his powers to not be able to share information or to share knowledge of the future.
To share the information that, yes, bad things they are going to do. Elsevier is going to need to be stopped. Yes.
Yeah.
However, you cannot, based on odds.
Your mic's cutting out again, bud.
God damn it.
You keep getting all crickly crackly.
Yep. Hang on. Based on the rules of the gods, Ashiro couldn't act until after the action was actually taken.
Yes, because there's always and this is one of the things that I always find funny with people who predict time and that type of concept. There's always choices to be made within time, like exploring. So like fate and foreshadowing. There's always two paths, two divergent paths. There's always the options of if they go left or if they go right, because you never know if someone's going to make the choice of left or right. You can aspire to think you know, but until the moment of, you don't know if some outside source could impact that reaction.
There could be a last minute change.
Precisely.
And that's where Zaxxan probably went. Look, I will tell you this. Something is...
There's the chance of this happening.
Yeah. You go down.
Yeah.
He could have given the odds too, right? Like, it's like a 75% chance something's going to happen. But because of that
this
25...
could happen or this could happen. Yeah.
Because of that 25, I can't give you the authority to do it now and just take care of it. The gods have to abide by the actions having been taken before they can act on the thing. But that gave Ashiro enough time
to prepare.
To prepare the core and do the thing.
Exactly. So she prepared and had everything ready for if Elsevier fucked up.
If not, they got a cool-ass librarian robot. Like...
Pretty much.
It wasn't a big deal either way, right?
One way or another, they got something cool out of it. It just so happened that now they have a really cool librarian.
Now, here's a creature you don't hear about often in D&D, but exists in the plane of order.
Our plane of order, or in the general
in D&D's plane of order?
Okay.
In D&D's plane of order. Modrons.
Oh yeah, I love Modrons.
Because we're automatonizing this entire tower.
Yeah.
I really do think you would still have your Modrons, Duodrons, all of that structure within the way the tower works.
I mean, 100% I feel like they would. I feel like they would definitely exist within the entire tower.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the god or deity or what they... Okay, level 4. Level 4 would be our so we have the concept of time. We have the concept of knowledge. We have the concept of I don't know if I'd call it order. I'd call it chaos. Which is the Cosmicon. So the concept of like protection and peace and order is the one that we're still currently missing.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So, Modrons, that could be it. That could be the concept of order would be the Modrons. So it would essentially be a plane of just Modrons, of all levels of Modrons.
Let me look up the name that D&D uses just so we can put it in as a referential point for ourselves.
For which?
The plane of order. They do have a name beyond. They do have an actual name.
They do.
Yes, the Modron's home does actually have its own name, Mechanus.
Mechanus, yeah.
I also wanted to make sure we put it in there so we did not use it.
I mean, that makes sense.
Because honestly, Mechanus is what we might have thought about because it's the machinations of...
And it's also a name that's been in the back of my head because I was playing with Modrons a couple months ago for a campaign.
So essentially it's basically going to be the gears and shit.
And the
functionality
like a cog factory.
Yeah, it'd be a giant fucking factory of
Modron creations and manufacturing and essentially the way that I'm envisioning it is if you need order or if you need something to help you for like protection or to prevent chaos from happening, you would go to the plane of order and you would order Modrons.
Yep.
So depending on the level of severity of what you need, you would get your hierarchy of Modrons that you could order in and bring down to wherever you need them to.
So in Modron lore, there is the Primus where there's only one. He is the god of... Primus is the god of the Modrons, right?
Yeah.
He is the god of the plane. There is only ever one. It's Highlander rules. Then there's Secundus, which there's always two of. And then there is...
I'm looking it up right now as well. Let's see here. Military? No, don't cover military. Social structure?
Maybe. Organizations and mechanisms.
So, Modrons are arranged into groups of 12, with each group supervised by a Dudron or a Tridron.
Yeah, so...
That's social structure.
Correct. Okay, so... Modron... Okay, Secundii, Tertians, Quartons, Quintons, Hextons, Septons, all, and then it's all the way down.
Yeah, it just keeps spreading.
So I think, what if we did this on, the doubling concept? There's always double as many of the one before.
Okay, I can
so,
do that.
Secundus is...
So essentially, the higher the number, the weaker the Modron.
Technically.
Yeah.
So there's two Secund... Right now we're using Modron words.
So
I understand that they're probably copywritten.
So let's skip the Modron number, like the Modron names, and strictly do it in a mathematical sense. And then we can rename it later on.
So I'm gonna say the twos.
Yeah, the twos.
There's two of the ones. There's one of the fours. Then we've got the eights. Yeah. The would help if my numb lock was actually on. The eights, 16s, 32s, 64s. So that's 1, 2, 3.
So if we want to have fun with it, we could name them in the Greek sense. So 1 is Enna, 2 is Theo, 3 is Treia, 4 is Tessera, 5 is Penti, 6 is Xi, 7 Ephta, 8 Octo.
Yeah. Let's do that. So we'll have 8 tiers. So we'll have, what's the ones? Essa?
1 is Enna, E-N-A.
Enna. Enna.
And then 2s is Theo.
Spell that.
Thio.
Theo is your duos.
Yeah. And then 3 is Tria, Tria.
Okay.
4 is Tessera, Tessera.
Okay.
5 is Pendai, Pndi. Pendai. 6 is Exi, or Exi, EXI.
XI. Okay.
7 is EFTA, EFTA.
Okay.
And then 8 is Octo, OCHTO.
Okay. So right now there is, so the Enna are your Modrons, your base unit Modron equivalent. Theos are your
Tier Duodrons.
And then your Tridrons. Quadrones. Pentadrone. Hexadron. Septo.
I'm so happy you know all the terminologies for this because I'm.
They went with Latin.
I don't know the Latin terms. I feel like I should, but I don't. I need to do some school work.
So let's do you have 9 and 10 right there?
I don't, but give me 2 seconds and I can have it for you.
Okay.
Because this goes up to 100. 9 is Enne, Ennea.
Enea.
And then 10 is Theka, Theka.
Okay. So we'll go up to 8, and then we'll go with this. Then we'll model it after Secundus and Primus to get us to our base 10 system.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. We're base 10.
Yeah.
That tracks with what we understand about the world, the reality of our current reality that you and I, Eric and Chris, exist in.
Works for me.
And then we bring that on over.
Okay.
So, and those are your base unit Modrons.
Yep.
And then you just go up from there until you get to Octon, and then Secundus, and then Primus. With the rules of Primus, there's only one. There are 2 Secundus. There would be 4 Octons.
I wouldn't actually. I would stop at that. I would say that for Theka and Enna, yes, there would be 1 and 2. But for the other ones, I would say that they would be able to be manufactured at any point in time.
Just putting the numbers to see what base 2 would get us up to.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I guess that makes sense because they would have to be on loan, essentially.
They have to be a structured system.
Yeah, they would. They would. You're right. Because if you would want to, say, rent out a Septon, so the EFTA, there's only 8 of them available. So you'd be paying a hefty price to come in and order one of these to come and serve you for however long you have. I like the idea of it. I do agree with you. There should be a structured amount of how many there are.
Yeah,
because
but I don't like base 2.
512?
Yeah, because that's only 512 units that can ever exist.
And why don't you like that?
Because these bots have to help run the entire cosmos. This is the cosmos order.
Okay, so how about if we do it this way? There can be that many per plane.
Okay.
So in an individual plane, there can be that many at any given time.
I think I'm okay with that. And then per plane, we've got the duodrons, and then per plane for tries.
Like I would say the entire system. The entire system at any point in time, there can be that many of all 10 of them on a single plane.
Yeah.
So I would just say at the very top of it for like the entire Modron collection. Say if you're in the fire plane, there can be all of those. Like every single one of those can be in the fire plane at one time. As well as that many of them over in another plane. But if they try to go from one plane to the next, one of them will eviscerate and become non-existent.
And then you've got the Thecan Council.
Yeah.
That is all Thecans meet and link up with the God of Order or decisions.
Do you want a name for the god of order?
Yes.
Ekota. Ekoto. Ekato.
That's where we're going Grecian.
No, this is
Ekato.
Yeah, Ekato. It means 100.
It's 100 in Greek.
Yeah.
I like that. Because it's the god of all.
Right?
I like that.
Because ironically, Greek numbering doesn't have a word for 0.
No, it was not base 0. It did.
Yeah.
They didn't believe in the. There was no word for a nothing. That wasn't until the Arabs.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, they don't have a 0. I remember that much.
Ooh, pardon me.
But yeah, for the Thecan Council, all Thecans meet up and they kind of link in with the god of order for decisions and
for
orders.
Final decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
Because technically that means that this now means there can be infinite of the Modron, infinite of the so on and so forth, but it's on a per plane basis.
Per plane basis, yeah.
Yeah,
I
like it.
I like that idea, because then at any given point, if the entire world the entire cosmology starts to fall apart and go to shit, they could literally just send Modrons to every corner of the cosmos and reclaim everything.
Mm-hmm.
If they really wanted to.
And then so in here we've got the Great Modron, the Great Enna Factory. Units are promoted as needed. Promoted as destroyed. Only Thecans. Only Theka can leave their plane. So this factory only builds an Enna.
Only builds an Enna?
Yes, it'll build the Enna.
And then
the Enna
gets upgraded.
Only gets created because another Enna has been updated to a Theo.
Probably because something got destroyed.
Correct. Because if an Octo got destroyed, everyone below would move up a stage, creating the route for a new Enna to be made.
That makes sense. Filling in the space, essentially, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
but you don't build a new Octo because you need a new Octo. You build a new bottom line unit.
Cheaper.
Right? Which would mean that these... Okay. This also built... built the monitor, bartender.
Well, we've already stated that the bartender himself was created by the god of time.
Yes, but what built the body? Time himself could have, in theory. However, this is the factory it was made.
Okay, that makes that jives.
The bartender and the Cosmicon guard.
Yeah, because there's an entire guard force that's there, which I also feel probably would just be Modrons.
I don't think they would be. I think you would need things more powerful than that to tend with a god.
Yeah, but gods that have no powers?
Even still, a Modron is only like a CR1, a CR2. They're not... maybe it'd be a CR quarter.
If you have 512 of them...
But it would take all of your units to do that and subdue it.
That's in one plane, though.
So what because the library, Cosmicon, and time are all within the same plane.
That's fair.
They're layers within the plane.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing is these creatures being specifically made like have you looked up the Marut, Maruts, or the Pathfinder Inevitables?
No, I haven't looked up anything Pathfinder.
Okay, so what those are the god of justice will send out these high-powered things with a task to dole out justice, such as like God Killer.
Okay.
So if you kill a god, according to the Pathfinder lore and shit like that, these severely high-leveled automatons created by their equivalent of mechanists gets sent out to dole out justice because you broke the natural order of killing a god and were not one yourself.
So they send Terminators to terminate whatever messed up with the things that shouldn't be messed with.
Correct.
Okay.
You just cast a 10th level spell. You know that's not allowed because Mistress says no. You now get...
You use the wish spell to bring somebody back from the dead that wasn't supposed to come back from the dead.
Because time said it wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Now we're sending in an Autobot to come kill you.
Roll out.
Okay. So in that sense, then
I see them as these kind of things.
So would those actually be created in the NF factory? So, okay. So if they are created in the NF factory, then there would have to be another district of the factory itself.
I see it as a mothballed section. Right? Like, it was created so long ago, the last time it was used was to create the monitor.
Okay. So, in essence, there is, let's just say, an underground portion of the NF factory that people don't even know exist anymore. But if you go deep enough into the library, you can find it. That makes sense. So, okay. So, essentially, it was the initial factory that was created. It was the first factory that created. It created the beings that would in turn create the NF factory above it.
Correct.
That makes sense.
It
to me.
created it created Ekato, because Ekato, yes, is a god, but I'm seeing it being a god on the same lines as the monitor. It's a robot itself.
It's a created god.
It's a created god,
but it would still have a god heart.
Yes, but no god soul, unlike Elisifer.
Okay, yeah, because Elsevier would have a soul granted to her. Well,
it would have the god's consciousness.
Yeah.
Not opinions, consciousness.
Yeah. Because the automatons don't have as such opinions per se. They're they're programmed. They're told what to do. They're programmed into what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes, because all of this predates Marastus.
Yeah, it would.
So Marastus cannot be the one who built this thing. So we had to have something big bangy
come in and do it first
to have done this. So
we're gonna have a bunch of the Walker family existing.
right?
Like, my brain is telling me right now that the walkers created everything.
Everything.
And that's why they're known as that's why they're the walkers. They cosmo walk.
They cosmologic walked. Jesus.
They found the dragon settling and went, "Ooh, look at this." They were the first beings to walk on the planet. And they started seeing everything form and create, and they had their fingers dipped in everything.
Which tracks with me. To be entirely honest, that 100% tracks.
Right? Because how else would the first humans start to exist on this planet?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first humanoids exist, realistically. You would have to have somebody come across and find this planet and go, "Hey, look at this shit. Let's try and settle here."
Or another god have brought humanoids with them to settle this, like, let's say, like Tiamat or some shit, right?
Yeah, which would be possible through the elemental planes. Because the elemental planes were the first things that tapped into unity.
Or Tiamat. Tiamat's already known to be in D&D lore a multiversal deity.
Yeah, and she likes to fuck with shit. And she could have been banished at some point because, you know, she gets screwed with so many times in the actual material plane. Why not send her off to another plane of existence, another planet in a different part of the cosmos where you've got dragons making a planet?
Here's the fun part. You know how she also rules Avernus?
Yeah.
Apparently, in some parts of the mythos, that's just an avatar. That's not even really her. She's somewhere else entirely.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody's actually claimed to actually physically see her. They've seen a massive dragon with all the chromatic heads.
Yep.
She could have fucked off. She could have fucked off somewhere else.
She is a god, which means she has the ability to create an avatar. And an avatar of a god is still like a CR30 fucking creature.
Yeah, they're insane.
Good luck.
And even to kill the avatar, okay, so the avatar's dead.
A day later, the avatar's reborn. Who cares?
She just goes and makes a new one. She's like, "Oh, that one wasn't worthy. I'm going to go find a new host and make a new one out of a new host." Because that is the thing. In order to make an avatar, gods do need to have a host to create the avatar in.
I think
they do.
I know
from any mythology that I've ever read or
for many
lore,
of them. I just don't remember D&D itself. If they just can poof do it.
No, based off the D&D that I know that I've read for 5th edition. In order for a god to create an avatar, they need to have somebody willing,
a devout follower,
a devout follower, in order to possess and create their avatar.
Makes sense, because you need a fuck ton of followers. Like 3.5 actually listed out the exact number of followers you need for your exact level of godhood levels. Like, no shit, it actually straight up did, because there were people who played who wanted to play godhood.
Yeah.
So they said, well, to be a lesser deity, you need at least 10,000 followers, and that's lesser deity level 1.
Yeah, and then it progresses.
Level 1 god is this. Like, Lolth was level 12. Yeah. Lolth wasn't even a level 20 god.
No. Well,
because that belongs
realistically, she only had the one city that worshipped her.
No, Lolth has an entire race.
I wouldn't say an entire race.
Drow.
Not all Drow worshipped her, though.
90% of them. The other 10% did the other Drow goddess, but
yeah,
so rare.
The Dark Mistress.
No, the good Drow.
That's her name. The Dark Mistress. That's the goddess for the Haven Drow.
Ilistria.
Yeah.
I knew she actually had a name. That's what I was trying to say. When you said the title, it didn't jive with me for a second. I'm like, hang on.
Yeah.
Ilistria is the good Drow goddess, but only a very minor portion worship her.
From what I know of Drow knowledge, so there was in the Underdark of Faerun, there were 3 main cities that worshipped Lolth as her, but the main worshipping following was through Menzoberranzan. And then that started to go funny after in later books, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, right. So like having the following definitely is what you would need. And then going back to the avatars, you took over
one of your followers.
You took over one of your followers, and then it's up to you as the deity whether you chose to give the follower their life back. So you could choose to just kill them. So,
however, if the deity if your deity's avatar is killed, then
you're dead too.
Shit.
Yeah,
you're dead anyway.
100%.
I can't choose to give it back what's dead.
So in that sense, the concept of Tiamat being in our world, very, very possible.
Because her followers were chromatic dragons.
Yes. And whether it's her as a pure deity or her as an avatar, you can go either which way.
She's been at Cosmicon.
Probably. I mean, I don't doubt it. She wouldn't have gone in her dragon form. She probably would have gone as what kind of form? What form does she take? I can't remember.
She's a fucking dragon. She's a dragon. Who cares?
Fair. I don't think she'd fit.
There's other deities of equal strength going. They just so it doesn't matter. She doesn't.
That's how she found out about it. She went to Cosmicon, she found out about this new world, and then she ventured over. Johnny probably invited her like an asshole.
Because Johnny is actually from another plane of existence altogether.
Yep.
Him and Steve and all the others, they're not from this plane of existence. They're secretly from our homebrew worlds.
Johnny's from Arcalen.
Right.
It explains all the chaos the little bastards have been causing.
Right.
Okay, so jumping back over to what we were working on before we got distracted with avatars and gods.
Well, we're not so distracted because this is the planes of the of the before, right?
Yeah.
So
so we now have we have four levels of the tower, which is kind of cool. So that gives us our time. Are we still calling Time and Fate one level, like the Time and Fate Tavern?
Essentially, yeah.
We can have like rooms within the tavern, like bed chambers and stuff like that, where some of the gods kind of separate.
Like the fire elemental god, the god of the fire elementals and shit goes into a fire-based room.
Oh no, I meant for Time and Fate, because I feel like Time and Fate would be two separate individuals. I don't think they'd be the same person. Because Fate is the concept of we didn't discuss that. That never got really touched base. We just kind of called it I started calling it the Time Tavern or Tavern of Time.
So with Fate, wouldn't Fate also just be knowledge?
Because of the books we have. Say so. I wouldn't. See, that's not Fate though. Fate would be being born and having your life predetermined, or having things that you are set to do regardless of your choices.
Then I would honestly argue we don't have predestination type fate.
Okay, so then
you've got the library which records your fate.
True, yeah.
But you don't have, and that based off of that information, you could deduce your fate through looking at other parallel type of people.
So here's a question for you.
But predestination, I don't think we should do.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you, because your life should never be determined for you. You can always make your own damn choices, whatever you want to do. Going to the library, and let's just say you want to look at somebody's book. What level would those books be? I feel like they'd be pretty high in the level chain.
I actually see it the other way around, I think.
Really? You think they'd be bottom of the barrel?
I think they would be, because it's only dead people.
Yeah, but dead people can have a lot of knowledge behind them.
Depends on what's written in the book, and that's
what I mean,
in my opinion, that's DM discretion, but it depends on the level of what's written in the book. So I could see that section being its own tiered leveling system too.
So
if I want to go find out about Joe the onion dealer, it's not going to cost me a high level thing because he was just a dude.
He's just an onion dealer.
But if I want to get Steve's book,
that would cost you more.
If I want to get Steve Walker's book, that's going to be at least a tier 2.
So what would distinguish in the death of somebody as to what tier their book would go into?
So here's the way it's gonna sound a little weird, maybe, but maybe
that's
not.
We're here for weird. Bring on the weird.
Chat, if you guys have an opinion on this, please let us know. We want to take your opinion into account.
Give us weird.
The way I'm thinking about it is your simple guys, your base common everyday Joe Schmo. He'd be a 1 or even a 0. You could just check his book out. It's one of the few things you don't need to worry about trading in knowledge for. But that's because they lived generic lives.
This is where fate comes into play.
A tier 1 is when we could do it based on the levels of the adventuring path they took.
Yeah.
So levels 1 through 5 are your local heroes. Just like the D&D level system.
Oh, so depending on how high you leveled up,
your level was.
That's right. Okay, I jive with that. I like that.
If you're a level 1 dude and you died early in the adventure, well, I can go get your book out for a tier 1 book. We're good.
No, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Okay. No, I like that.
But to get a 20th level adventurer who is an archmage or an arch wizard by their sheer volume of knowledge,
that would be a high tier book.
Those
with
are
a lot of
tier 4s, tier 5s, whatever, right? Like,
yeah. Okay.
Now, what do you guys think over in chat? You guys jive with that too, or what you guys thinking? How would you structure general people's lives on a restriction level? How would you restrict knowledge to normal people's lives?
Let's see here. Dice and Decisions said could coincide with the legend lore spell in some way, maybe. Those who are legendary are higher up versus the normies. So kind of the same concept as what we came up with.
Pretty much similar to what I said. And hello, hey Richard, it's good to see you. Super glad you decided to join us in tonight. But yeah, we're here every Monday just jiving and talking. Right now we're in the cosmology, but I do like that idea is that we do that where it's the more knowledge you've acquired.
I think so. Well, not even just the more knowledge, the more experience that you've gained. Because you could be reading somebody's book on fighting techniques, and it's not so much the knowledge of their fighting techniques, but the experience that they had in doing it. So you could be reading about how they actually did all of their activities, and by reading their story, you're learning that method. Or
oh my god, you're gaining experience points from reading a book? What the hell are you doing now? Am I gonna level up to level 4 by reading Johnny's book now?
I mean, maybe.
You did trade in a high level book to get to that book.
You can't read Johnny's book. The fucker ain't dead.
I know, right?
He hangs out.
And Johnny will never have a book.
Maybe not.
Johnny will never.
You would have to trick him to leave the tower.
Even then, we've already determined if a mortal leaves the tower after they've been here for as long as Johnny has, he's dusted.
Well, he would still die. His book would still get made because he's now non-existent. He just would not get an after death book.
Oh, true. He would not get a volume 2. You only get Johnny Book volume 1, but that
Yeah. That would be
big.
fucking huge. You'd never be able to read the whole thing.
I don't know about you, but I want to go read Johnny's book.
I mean, we still have to rake it.
Hey, kill him.
So I feel like there would be people who are in the library reading people's death books.
Mm-hmm.
And they themselves have been there for so long that it's if and when they leave the library, if they're human or
it doesn't matter anyway.
they'd be dead. They would die.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't their entire goal and the purpose. Their goal was to come in, read a couple things, and then GTFO. But they stayed.
But knowledge is addicting.
Yeah, I was gonna say knowledge is like a drug. You always want more. You always want more and more and more knowledge because it's never ending. You can
Correct.
never fully fill your cup with knowledge.
Nope.
Toxic. So toxic.
I love I love that partial curse.
Right? It's the curse of knowledge, man. Never goes
Right?
away. You just always want more. No one has ever said, I have learned enough.
I mean, don't argue with someone. They might have said that.
Well, then I would turn around and say, there's always more you can learn.
There is. There absolutely is. Just come to the Library of Knowledge. You're fine.
Just go into a normal library. Fuck, there's so much in there you could read
mean,
and learn about.
Then you have to look it up and all that shit. There's no automaton librarian to find it for you.
I mean, kind of, if you really, really want to. I'm sure.
I would just go to Wikipedia. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm right there with you.
Wikipedia is the real world equivalent of the legend lore spell.
You're not wrong.
That is the hot take for tonight. Is Wikipedia is legend lore on your cell phone,
on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, wherever you want it, it's there for you. But we're hitting the last 5 minutes of our show.
Of course, we sure are.
Do you have any tips and tricks that you'd like to share with the folks before we close?
Apparently, knowledge is addicting as part of it.
It is. And use that as a curse against your players. If you have a wizard or a sorcerer or someone who just likes to search for things, use knowledge against them.
Yeah, that could be a really fun encounter.
Right?
Is use
Constitution savings?
Use their shit against them.
That's the best thing to do in an encounter. If you don't know how to, if you're stuck on an encounter and you don't know what to plan for a session, figure out what your players want and dangle it in front of them and just give them all of it and just see what they do with it.
Yeah. Or dangle some lore that you know they've been tracking down or something, but that you don't want them to get for free.
Yeah, make it hard.
That's always a fun one. Make it fun. And again, we're always here about fun, guys. That's the goal. Is this we're playing a game.
Don't forget that it is a game. And
it is a game.
Always be happy playing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not happy playing it, find a new table.
I think we've said that almost every week at this point.
Because
if you're not happy with the game you're playing, toodles.
Go somewhere else. There are so many places that you can find a table nowadays. You don't have to get stuck in a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
But first,
I totally agree.
Talk to your GM, talk to your players, talk to your peoples, and make sure everybody's on the same page. And don't ruin friendships.
Yeah, right. But, all right, guys, you have a wonderful evening. I think it's time for us to sign off of here.
I think so.
We've got one of my babies showed up. Oh, shit. Oh, you don't have to hide your face. People on the internet don't know who you are yet, Caitlin. Oh well, now they do. But
we're not that famous yet.
Hi, people. This is one of my kids. But yeah. So always remember have fun at your table, and if you're not, find a new table or figure out what you can do. Yeah, just talk to your DM. first and foremost, always go talk to the people at your table and talk to your DM. If it can't be resolved, okay, cool. Table. But communicate, talk to people. But don't forget to also pray to your gods of your D&D game too. Like, that's a thing. The dice gods will be in your favor eventually.
As well, make sure to go check out Hebridean Tales, Eric's D&D actual play podcast. You can find him Spotify, Amazon, all the happy places. As well, you can go check out the KSN podcast, another D&D 5e actual play podcast. Again, that's all over the apps of choice that you feel like listening to. You can catch us on Instagram, both at our individual tags in our names,
which are below us.
Yep. And you can go find us at the World Forge at Instagram as well. And we love you all. We miss you all. We will see you all again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will continue working on the tower and really God knows what else. If you have anything that you want us to work us on, let us know. Shoot us a message. We'd love to.
And otherwise, have a great evening.
All right. Later, everybody.